Hello students, the next problem which we will take is for full wave rectifier. Okay, full wave rectifier. So the formula almost remains same. There will be small modifications which I'll explain you what exactly the modification is. The formula for the transformer remains the same. NP upon NS is equal to VP RMS upon VS RMS. Now the most important part is the peak value across the peak value of VM, that is PM, voltage across secondary. The value is √2 into VS RMS upon 2. Now see the significant difference in the diagram of half wave rectifier and a full wave rectifier is that the secondary of the transformer is divided into two secondaries, right? We use center tap transformer so that both the half cycles should be rectified. So what we are doing is, actually when we are dividing it into two secondaries, the peak value will be divided by 2, right? The peak value will be divided by 2. So that is what has been mentioned. In case of half wave rectifier, VM was simply √2 into VS RMS, because RMS value is what? RMS value is only 70.7% of the total peak value. So if you want to get the peak value, you have to multiply it by √2. But in case of full wave rectifier, it has to be divided by 2 because there are two secondaries. Okay, so now this is the load resistance, right? So this was the circuit diagram. So this is the formula for peak volt. I hope you have understood why I have said √2 into VS RMS upon 2. Next is PIV is equal to 2VM. See, now what happens is, during positive half cycle, there are two half cycles, right? Positive and negative half cycle. During the positive half cycle, D1 will be forward bias, D2 will be reversed bias. When D1 is forward bias, what happens is, for this secondary, the secondary 1, this entire VM will be dropped across the resistance, and for the secondary 2, this VM will be dropped across the diode. So between these 2 points, if you check, what happens is, this is VM plus VM. So total value, that is PIV rating, will be of 2 VM across a diode. Okay, so you have to make sure that the diode rating should be equal to or greater than 2 VM. Okay, and VDC will be, of course, the PIV rating, that is 2 VM by pi, and IDC will be simply VDC upon RL. So I have explained you the modification which I have done in the formula as compared to half wave rectifier. So this is what is the modification. Next we will do let us see a problem based on full wave rectifier. Okay, the problem statement will be like this: in a full wave rectifier, the secondary AC voltage is 60 volt. Okay, the secondary AC voltage is 60 volt. Calculate PIV, VDC, IDC when RL is equal to, say, 3 kilo ohms. 3 kilo ohms means 3 into 10 to the power 3 ohms. Okay, so these are the values which has been specified. Now in such a problem, what has been given is, you have directly been given VS RMS, so you don't need the turn ratio, or you don't need to use the formula for the transformer. Okay, directly what has been given, the secondary AC voltage is 60 volt, VS RMS is given, so you need to calculate VM, then substitute the value here so that you get the answer. Now what you can see is PIV is 2 VM, VDC is 2 VM by pi, or most of the times we are going to use 2 Vm, right? So instead of finding out Vm and then multiplying it by 2, what we will do is, in this formula itself we will make the modification as 2 Vm equals to root 2 into Vs RMS. Okay, Vs RMS. So we keep the value as 2 Vm so that it becomes very easy for you to substitute the value and get the answer. Okay, so the first thing which we will calculate is Vs RMS is given to us is 60 volt AC. Okay, so peak value, that is Vm, we have to calculate it, which is root 2 into Vs RMS upon 2, and we need to substitute value of 2 Vm always. So we make the formula as 2 Vm equals to root 2 into Vs RMS. Root 2 is 1.414 multiplied by 60. When you calculate, the value comes out to be 84.84 volts. So this is the value of 2 Vm, that is peak value across the secondary. And what is PIV? Of course, PIV is 2 Vm, that means the value is 84.84 volts. And then VDC, what is VDC? VDC is 2 Vm by pi. What is the value of 2 Vm? It is 84.84 divided by 3.14, and when you calculate this value, the value comes out to be 27.01 volts. That will be the value as VDC. And what is IDC? IDC is VDC upon RL. VDC is 27.01 upon 3 kilo ohms, that means 3 into 10 to the power 3. So this will be 27.01 divided by 3 multiplied by this value. When it goes up, it will be 10 to the power minus 3. So this will be approximately 9.001 it will come. We will consider it as 9. 10 to the power minus 3 is at milli, and unit of current is ampere. So the answer will be 9 milliampere. You just have to understand the modifications in the formula as compared to half wave rectifier. So just substitute that values in the formulas and you will get the answer. So this is for full wave rectifier. Next, last one in the list is the numerical based on full wave bridge rectifier. Now again we have to see the modifications in the formula as compared to half wave and full wave rectifier. Now if you remember the design of full wave bridge rectifier, what we do is we use ordinary transformer with only one secondary. Okay, only one secondary. Therefore the peak value of Vm, the peak value which is Vm, will be always specified as root 2 into Vs RMS, and PIV will be of course Vm only, because we are using only one secondary, not two secondary as in case of full wave rectifier we use center trap transformer. We divide the transformer secondary into two secondaries, so Vm plus Vm, 2 Vm in that case. In case here it will be only Vm. Now VDC is 2 Vm by pi. See, there is a difference again. If you remember the formula, if you compare this formula with the half wave rectifier, it will be Vm by pi in case of half wave rectifier. Now in full wave bridge rectifier we mentioned it as 2 Vm by pi. If you remember, in half wave rectifier only one half of the input is rectified, the other half is clipped from the circuit, but in full wave bridge rectifier both the half cycles are rectified. So when you calculate VDC, it should be 2 Vm by pi, and of course IDC will be VDC upon RL. So now let us see the statement for a numerical based on full wave bridge rectifier. So we say the transformer used in a full wave bridge rectifier, the transformer used in a full wave bridge rectifier has a turn ratio has a turn ratio of say 15:1. Okay, turn ratio of 15:1 with input AC connected to 250 volt AC. Okay, 250 volt AC. We have to calculate PIV, VDC, IDC when load resistance is equal to 5 kilo ohm. So what has been given? Turn ratio is given 15:1, NP upon NS, right? Then VP RMS is given, that is primary voltage. Primary is connected with input, I will say input primary is connected to 250 volt AC. Now we have to calculate PIV, VDC, IDC when the value of RL is equal to 5 kilo ohm. So the first thing we will calculate is VS RMS value. Okay, secondary voltage. NP upon NS is equal to VP RMS upon VS RMS. So VS RMS is VP RMS upon NP into NS, and this value will be 250 divided by 15 multiplied by 1. So basically it will be 250 divided by 15. The value, if you calculate, will come out to be 16.66 volts. So that is the value of VS RMS. That is what is the first thing you have to calculate. Then you have to calculate the peak value, that is VM. What is VM? It is √2 into VS RMS. That means it will be 1.414 into what is the value of VS RMS? It is 16.66. So if you calculate this value, you will get the answer as 23.56 volts. So the second step is done, VM is calculated, and of course third step, PIV, peak inverse voltage, is equal to VM, and VM we have already calculated, 23.56 volt. And next is VDC. Now in VDC it will be 2 VM, right? 2 VM by pi. That means 2 into what is the value of VM we have calculated? 23.56 divided by 3.14. So when you calculate this value, it will be around 15.01 volt. This is VDC. And in the last step, you need to calculate IDC. And what is IDC? It is VDC upon RL. What is VDC? 15.01 divided by, what is the value of RL? RL is 5 kilo ohms. So 5 into 10 to the power 3. So this will be approximately 15.01 divided by 5. This 10 to the power 3 will go up. It will be 10 to the power minus 3. So 15.01 divided by 5, approximately you can calculate it as 3. So it will be 3, and 10 to the power minus 3 is milli, and unit of current is ampere. So answer will be 3 milliampere for this particular design of rectifier. So this is the formula, this is the problem based on full wave bridge rectifier. One of these three problem which is based on either a half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier or a full wave bridge rectifier will come for 3 marks. I hope you have understood. The next topic we will try to understand is filters. See, if you remember, the elements of power supply in the first block was transformer. The second block, what the transformer does? Transformer converts high AC voltage, high AC current into low AC voltage, low AC current, depending upon the requirement of the power supply design. So that was the first part, transformer. Second part was rectifier. What rectifier does? Rectifier converts AC into DC. But the output of rectifier is not a pure DC, because we are not getting a straight line. What we are getting instead is we are getting the output like this. That means we are getting a fluctuating DC. What is this fluctuating DC called as? It is called as ripples. What is ripples? Ripples is the AC component mixed in the DC component at the output of the rectifier, right? So what we have to do, of course, what we need is we need a straight line. So the output of the rectifier is not a straight line, it is a fluctuating DC. So AC component is mixed in the DC component. So what we have to do is we have to remove this AC component so that output gives almost a pure DC. So the circuit which does that is called as filters. Under this heading we will try to understand 4 such circuit called as capacitive filter, inductive filter, LC filter, that means a filter which has both inductor as well as capacitor, and the last one is RC filter. R stands for resistance, that means resistive capacitive filter. So such a type of 4 filters we will try to understand. So the first one is capacitive filter. Okay, capacitive filter. In a capacitive filter, see what happens is for this filter the input will be from the rectifier, because the third block is the filter. Before that we have a rectifier. So what will be the input for the filters? It is nothing but the rectified output that is coming out of the rectifier. Okay, so that is what I will specify here. Rectified output. Okay, rectified output, and say this is the load resistance RL across which output voltage will be taken. Okay, so what is the rectified output? Rectified output has fluctuating DC. Say this is plus, this is minus. Now in a capacitive filter, a capacitor is connected in parallel to the load resistance. Okay, there are one formula you have to remember for each type of filter, so that you can give the explanation part that to how it will convert fluctuating DC into almost a pure DC. So in case of capacitive filter, we write the formula for capacitive reactance, that means resistance offered by the capacitor to different signals. What are the different signals? Here the signals are mixed as AC and DC. So we will analyze what type of behavior is that of capacitor for AC and DC, and accordingly we will find out a conclusion. Okay, so the formula which I am specifying, XC, is capacitive reactance, resistance offered by the capacitor to different signal. The formula is given by 1 upon 2 pi FC. Okay, 1 upon 2 pi FC. Capacitive reactance is 1 upon 2 pi FC. In that 2 pi and C is constant, because 2 pi of course is constant. C is the capacity of the capacitor, and once you connect a capacitor, its capacity will be always fixed. So capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency of the signal. Okay, frequency of the signal. That is what we can conclude from this formula, that capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency of the applied input signal. And what is the input signal to the filter? It is the rectified output, which is almost which is nothing but a DC, but a fluctuating DC. So what we do is we specify here as for DC, what happens is for DC frequency is 0. Okay, so for DC signals frequency is 0. Of course for DC signal it will be a straight line, no alternating cycles will be there, so no frequency. So frequency is 0, and if you substitute the value as 0, what happens is when frequency is 0, capacitive reactance, anything divided by 0 is infinite. That means capacitive reactance is infinite. Infinite means what happens is it acts as open circuit, it acts as open switch. Okay, high resistance, very high resistance, it works as, of course when you say high resistance means no current will flow, and no current will flow means it will act as an open switch, right? And for AC frequency will be high, and if frequency is high, it is inversely proportional, so capacitive reactance will be low. So for AC signal, it will act as closed switch. So from this formula, what we have concluded is capacitor has a property, capacitor has a property to what it, see, this signal which has both AC as well as DC will come up to this point, and for AC signal it is acting as a closed switch, for DC signal it is acting as a open switch. That means it will not allow DC signal to pass through it, but it will allow AC signal to pass through it, and that is what we want. We want to remove the AC part or the AC component which is mixed in the DC component at the output rectifier. So capacitor, that is why it is connected in parallel to the load resistance. That means when the signal comes, which is a mix of AC and DC, DC will be blocked. DC will not be allowed to pass through the capacitor. So the only path for DC is through the load resistance, and AC is passed through the capacitor. So all the AC component which is mixed in the DC component at the output of the rectifier will be bypassed through the capacitor, while the other signal, that means the DC signal, almost a pure DC signal, will be obtained across load resistance. So what we say is capacitor has a property to pass AC. For AC signal it is acting as a closed switch and blocks DC. It acts as an open circuit, infinite resistance for DC signal. So capacitor has a property to pass AC and block DC. Therefore almost a pure DC is produced across RL. Okay, so almost a pure DC is produced across the RL. So capacitor has a property to pass AC and block DC. Therefore all the AC component will be passed through the capacitor, whereas DC component will be produced across RL. So what we can say is, therefore almost a pure DC is produced across RL. So this will be your input waveform. V in, with respect to time, it will be fluctuating, and when you take the output of filter, what you are going to get, the output will be like this. So what we have done is, most of the AC component has been removed, and what you can see is the line has almost become a straight. Of course not exactly straight, but is almost become straight. So most of the AC component will be removed, and the output will be almost a pure DC. Sometimes if such fluctuations are not of that importance, you don't need voltage regulator. You can directly take the output of a power supply from the output of filter. No need of voltage regulator. Voltage regulator will straighten this signal to a straight line, right? So that is what we are going to study in the next part. So sometimes voltage regulators are not required. We can take the output directly from the filter and use it for any particular instrument. So this is all about capacitive filter. The next in the 9 under the heading of filters is, the second one is inductive filter. Okay, so the same circuit will prevail. We have a rectified input for the filter. The rectified input will have both AC as well as DC, and then it will be connected to the load resistance across which output will be taken. Now see the designing aspect. In capacitive filter, we connected capacitor in parallel to the load resistance. In case of inductive filter, what we will do is, we will connect the inductor in series with the load resistance, which is specified as L. Okay, so again we will go by the formula. We will try to explain the formula so that we can get a conclusion of how AC component will be bypassed and almost a pure DC is produced across the output. Okay, XL indicates inductive reactance. That means resistance offered by the inductor to two different signals. In this case it will be AC and DC. Okay, so XL in the formula is given by 2 pi FL, where 2 pi is constant, L is inductance, which will be fixed value, which will be constant. So we can say XL depends upon frequency. What is frequency? Frequency of the input signal, of course, frequency of the input signal. Okay, so 2 pi L is constant, so we say XL is directly proportional to frequency. Again we will start with the same thing for DC signals. For DC signals, frequency is 0. That means XL will be equal to 0, right, according to this formula. And what we say when you say resistance is 0, resistance is 0 means heavy amount of current will flow. That means the circuit will act as a closed circuit, okay, on circuit. So it works as closed circuit. Okay, for AC signal, frequency is high, therefore inductive reactance will be high. And if resistance is high, what does that mean? No current will flow, and resistance, that means it will work as open circuit. Okay, so this is the conclusion, this is the things which has been derived by the formula for inductive reactance. And from this thing we will try to conclude our result. What is the result? We say inductor has the property to, what it will block? It will block DC. What will it pass? Sorry, it will block AC and it will pass DC. Inductor has the property to pass DC signals and block AC signals. And see, in this case what is happening is it has both AC as well as DC components. So what is happening is AC is being blocked over here, only DC signals will pass through the inductor, and that is why the DC will be appearing across the load resistance across which the output voltage is taken. So what we conclude is inductor has the property to pass DC signal and block AC signal. Therefore almost a pure DC is obtained across RL. So if this is the input signal which has both AC as well as DC component, the output signal will appear like this. Okay, so we have almost removed the AC component, and the output which is there across the load resistance is almost a straight line. Okay, so that is the objective of filters, to bypass the AC component and to produce almost a pure DC across load resistance. So this is your inductive filter.